Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our staff devotions. My name is Mike Egerdahl. I'm the boys' Bible teacher here at Skycrest, for those of you who don't know me. And this morning, we're going to be, you know what? I'm sorry. I got to take this stuff off. I know it's going to put you at risk, but I just can't teach in all of this protective gear. I mean, I've got masks on masks on masks. And I'm really sorry, but if you get coronavirus from this video, then just blame it on me. It's 100% my fault. But this is staff devotions. Last year, we finished our staff devotions in Psalm 48, and the desire is to continue that this year. You should have received in your box this really nice copy of the Psalms, quite thick, and that's because it's a journaling Bible. So on one side of the page, you've got the text of Scripture. On the other side, you've got this ruled paper that you can write down your thoughts and little notes to yourself. And so the administration was kind enough to provide those for us, and we hope that you will use them. And if you want to, go ahead and take notes from these studies or take notes on your own, but make full use of these Bibles because they really are a pretty neat gift. So this morning we're in Psalm 49. Psalm 49 was written by the sons of Korah, and they're an interesting group of people, the children of Korah. If you remember in Numbers chapter 16, Korah, along with Dathan and Abiram, rebelled against the authority of Moses. And as a result, God judged them by opening up the earth, and they and their families fell into this humongous hole, and then the earth covered up over top of them, and they were never seen or heard from again. Some of Korah's children, his descendants, survived God's judgment, and they went on to be some pretty prolific songwriters and actually led the nation of Israel in praise to Yahweh, their God. And Psalm 49 is one of 11 psalms that was written by the sons of Korah. And in this psalm, they're going to ask a question, and then they're going to try and answer the question. So this is not just a song for entertainment, it's a song for teaching a spiritual lesson. So let's go ahead and turn in our Bibles to Psalm 49. It just so happens to be on page 160 of your brand new Bible. In verses 1 through 4, the sons of Korah are really just trying to get the attention of the people. They say, "Hear this, all people. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world." So not just Israelites, but us today and every nation of the world can benefit from this song. Both low and high, so those of low social status and high social status, rich and poor together. Everyone can learn from this. They say, "My mouth shall speak wisdom, the meditation of my heart shall be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will solve my riddle to the music of the lyre." And here's the big question that they want to ask and answer in this psalm. Look at verse 5. "Why should I fear in times of trouble? When the iniquity of those who cheat me surrounds me, those who trust in their wealth and boast of the abundance of their riches. Should I be afraid of them? Why should I fear them?" Right? And this is obviously a rhetorical question. The answer is going to be, I shouldn't fear them. And they're going to spend the rest of the psalm explaining why we, as the righteous followers of Yahweh, should not fear the wicked, even though they might be rich and famous and popular and powerful. So what do they say? Obviously, we should not fear them. And here's the main reason why that they're going to support. Because no one can escape the righteous judgment of God. Why should I fear in times of trouble? When the wicked rich try and oppress me, I shouldn't fear, because God's judgment is coming on them just like it's coming on me and the rest of the world. All right? Look at verses 7 through 9. The main point of these verses is that you can't pay God off to escape his judgment. "Truly no man can ransom another or give to God the price of his life. For the ransom of their life is costly and can never suffice, that he should live on forever and never see the pit.
You can't pay God enough money to escape his judgment. You can't outsmart God to escape his judgment. Look at verse 10. For he, that is the wicked, who's considering death, he sees that even the wise die. The fool and the stupid alike must perish and leave their wealth to others. Their graves shall be their homes forever, their dwelling place to all generations. Though they called lands by their own name, man in his pomp will not remain. He is like the beasts that perish. So you can't have enough money to pay for your escape. You can't outsmart God to escape his judgment. All will face God's judgment. Now, what will his judgment be like for the wicked and the righteous? That's verses 13 through 15. Take a look. This is the path of those who have foolish confidence, yet after them people approve of their boasts. Like sheep, they are appointed for Sheol, which is the Hebrew word for the grave. Death shall be their shepherd. What an interesting phrase. Death shall be their shepherd. Remember Psalm 23? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In this case, in the case of the wicked, who is their shepherd? It's not the Lord. Death shall be their shepherd. The upright shall rule over the wicked in the morning, which is probably a veiled reference to the resurrection. The wicked's form shall be consumed in Sheol with no place to dwell. But, verse 15, God will ransom my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me. So we see in these verses that when God's judgment comes on the world, both rich and poor alike, the wicked will be condemned and consumed, and the righteous will be received into God's presence, and they will be vindicated on the basis of their faith in Yahweh God. Verses 16 through 20 form sort of a summary of everything that has been said. In fact, the psalm ends with an almost direct quote of verse 12. So look at verse 16. Here's the summary answer. Be not afraid when man becomes rich, when the glory of his house increases. For when he dies, he will carry nothing away. His glory will not go down after him. I've heard it said many times that you never see a hearse towing a U-Haul trailer. You can't take anything with you. For though, verse 18, while he lives, he counts himself blessed, and though you get praise when you do well for yourself, his soul will go down to the generation of his fathers, who will never again see light. Man in his pomp, yet without understanding, is like the beasts that perish. So how can this be an encouragement to us today? Well, if you paid any attention to the news, you see that our world, even our country is filled with violence and unrest and terrorism, not just abroad, but terrorism at home. And there's looting, and there's burning, and there's people being assaulted in their own neighborhoods and in their cars. And our world is just a wreck right now. And it seems like the ultra rich and the powerful and the influential, the high and mighty in our American society seem to almost be behind the scenes pulling the strings in all of this. And the media is fueling it, and television personalities, movie stars, musicians they all seem to be fanning the flames of this fire that seems to be burning in our country. So should we fear in times of trouble when the ultra rich and powerful are trying to cause trouble in our worlds? The answer 3,000 years ago and the answer today is no. We don't need to be afraid because we know that God's righteous judgment is coming on everyone. You can't buy your way out. You can't think your way out. You will be judged, and the wicked will be condemned and consumed in the grave, and the righteous will be vindicated and received to the Father's side. So when you're tempted to be afraid of all the mess that's going on in our country today, just remember, death is the great equalizer, and in the judgment of God, the righteous will be vindicated and received into his presence. So I hope this is an encouragement today as you teach your students. Teach them that they can trust this amazing God who will one day bring justice to our earth. God bless and have a great day.